So welcome to Mix It Up Podcast, everyone here. This is your host, Nicholas D. And let me tell you some things about me, and then I'm gonna tell you what Mix It Up Podcast is all about. So about me, I like to travel. I've got a vlog channel. I bet some of you know me from that channel. I've got the YouTube Shorts channel. I love to entertain and make people laugh. And Mix It Up Podcast is basically a podcast about where I can share any of my ideas in podcast format. That's because for right now, this is more of a solo podcast, basically me, like, I would say maybe documentary style, maybe. But that doesn't mean it's always gonna be that way. I am actually hoping to have some of my friends help me out and do podcasting, like what like a like what general podcasts are like. I'm not saying normal. I'm saying general here, generally, usually, typically, mostly there are dual people, like two people like talking back and forth, stuff like that. That's what I want to get to. And I also want to get to Google AdSense and earning monetization across all of my YouTube channels and all of that. But it starts, by this, basically, I'm not perfect right now. This is basically like a first podcast. Like, let's say you come back in a year or 2 years, 3 years, whatever, down the road, or let's say 10 years making this, I'm probably gonna be a big YouTuber like Ireland Boys Productions, Mr. Beast, and we're gonna be looking back at this. That's possible, right? You could be listening to this. Oh wait, my kids could be listening to this podcast and they're looking at podcasts on Google or something. And of course that'd be in 20, 30, 40, whatever years down the road from now, but that's just interesting to think about. So Mix It Up Podcast is basically right now is solo. Maybe for a few weeks, maybe. But I honestly do not know. I'm really hoping that within the first season, by the time August happens, August is when I plan to start season 2 of Mix It Up Podcast. So I really think that by that time I'm gonna be able to have a dual host, and that this is gonna be popular and stuff among podcasts, and people are gonna be searching this. But everything starts from zero, right? You start from zero, no house, just nothing, basically just imaginations, just basically dreams, to owning land, owning grassy, swampy land, whatever, to owning, and then after that, then foundation gets poured, and then after that, then studs, and then after that, eventually, you build up, right? Like, you don't just go snap, like, here's an idea, put in money, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, your house is ready, right? It takes time for your house to get ready. And that's basically like what my YouTube is, right? Like, I've already, put in the money, well, metaphorically, right? Like, for this, basically, to do YouTube, it's free, right? Like, you get paid if you're a popular YouTuber, which I could eventually get there, and that's my goal someday, to be like Mr. Beast, more J2 Ireland Boys, one of them, right? But even them, they were probably in a phase like where I am right now, which is, basically, like using that house example, or even commercial building like Walmart, Target, office building, whatever, hotel. I've put in the money, bought the land, right? That is setting up the Google account, setting up all of that, uploading my first video. Okay, that is like digging and then posting all my YouTube videos, that's like pouring the foundation, and then getting subscribers, that's like building studs. And then once I get there to the required amount, then that's basically like the finish, like getting the keys and the inspection being passed and saying, hey, this house has passed inspection. The builders did a great job. There weren't any flaws in the construction. That's basically where I am. Now, my main channel, which is my vlog channel, that one, of course, that one has more progress, right? Like, I've built up the basement, I'm probably in the trim phase right now, in a slow trim phase, right? I've got all the drywall up, since I've got like a bunch of subscribers and stuff, but I'm in the trim phase, installing all the cabinets, doing all the, you know what I mean? So just imagine YouTube and podcasting and all of my YouTube channels like a house being built or a building being built, basically. One channel might be a house closer to being finished than the other, basically, Then one I could think, oh, hey, this has this many subscribers, so this is close to being built, but then this channel down here, still in the basement phase, could go, whoop, and that house could be built before this house is built. So basically, that's where I'm at, and thinking of a house, basically, builders, right, when builders start building a house, when they're in their first 2-3 houses, they probably don't have enough practice. Maybe one house, the one that they're at the most, maybe they've got a lot of practice, but then when they actually start another house, then even though it's the same thing, right? It's still like this, it's the same Google layout and everything. Maybe they have to relearn something, or maybe it's practice for them because maybe they need to do something different for that house than this house, right? So doing something different for this style, they have to relearn and practice and all of that, and then they'll eventually get there and know that, after a while, then they'll be skilled at it and good at it, right? Like college, right? You start in college, right, or school without any skills, and then you graduate, get advanced degrees in college, and then suddenly you've got a bunch of skills. Basically, as of right now, it's going to be a lot of talking and me going, doing things like that in the podcast. And of course, eventually, if I have friends, of course, they'd be, friends, family, whatever, on the podcast, basically like a co-host, a dual host, because that's what I want. That's what I want this podcast to be. Then, of course, they'd get say, and I'd be basically talking to them, and they'd be giving examples too, So that's an example. Maybe it's not always going to be like that, right? We don't know, even and even planning videos and stuff, right? Like, I don't know what it's going to turn out to be, right? Like, I don't know the future, right? Even for what my videos are gonna, like, even once after I've recorded them, like, right, when I'm editing them, I've got an imagination of what I want them to be, but they could turn out to be something completely, different, right? You never know the future, even when you get to plan your own or create your own future, right? Even when you are the director of a film, you might not know the future. You might not know what's gonna happen in the movie. So even for a director, maybe everything's not spoiled for them, right? Maybe when they publish it, maybe then that's when they'll figure out everything, right? Right? Imagine like the director of Mandalorian. Maybe that director has an idea, and they've all got the ideas and are trying to do that, right? But something could happen, right? In the plot. So maybe they don't, even though they're the ones that are making that movie and they know what's supposed to happen, maybe maybe they don't know what's in the future, right? So even for them, they don't know what's gonna happen in season 4, right? Whenever season 4 comes out, right now we've got season 3, but and even though they were planning out and making all these seasons, they probably and see when they were filming, even when they were filming like that video and that episode in season 2 where they did meant where they did name Grogu, Baby Yoda, Grogu, right? Even in that episode, they might not have known that they would have done that and that, right? So basically, I'm gonna be doing that behind the scenes stuff. Got the ideas list for solo podcasts for what I want it to look like, and I'm gonna pull them up on Google and read them to everyone. Mm, 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 mm. And no, I do not think for those of you that are wondering, I do not think I am going to be doing live stream podcasts. So don't plan on that, at least anytime in the near future. I'm going to be going behind the scenes and documenting my experience. In fact, I do have a documentary style podcast coming up next after this one. And yes, that is gonna be a documentary. So no, I'm not gonna say what it is, right? Even if I say what it is, it could turn out to be something. If I say, oh, the documentaries, for example, I know it's not this. So for example, right, like I want it to be of course, I know it's gonna be something completely different. But for example, I want it to be about what I'm planning on it to be about is about Publix. Of course, it's gonna be something different. But for the example here, because I don't want to spoil or alert, I want it to be about Publix, and I'm planning about doing a podcast about Publix next week, a documentary about my experience at Publix. But then when I'm filming it, it could be completely different, and then it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be a documentary turning out to be a documentary about houses, right? So even if I spoil it, that's not really gonna help, right? Because you'll get your hopes up. Oh, hey, he's gonna do a podcast about Publix, but then it's a podcast about car companies instead of a grocery store or whatever, So, I am going to be doing some. Maybe I might do passions. I'm not sure, right? I'm starting. I'm in the starting phase, right? I'm in the buying. Right. Like I've bought the land, right, for the MixItUp Podcast channel. Right, I've bought the land. That's like setting up the Google account, and then in the house phase for the MixItUp Podcast, I'm in the, you know, removing trees, getting the land ready, and I upload this video, that's like all the concrete for the basement foundation. And then when I get into it, then that's like the whole basement being framed out and stuff. And then when I really get into it, like second season in August, that's like the start of the first level, right? The basement levels here, ceiling, and then first level with the front door, garage, all of that, and then I build up to third, fourth, second, third, fourth, fifth, attic, stuff like that. Basically, that's where I'm at, right? Like right now, I'm in when this goes uploaded, right? And I upload this, that's gonna be like the concrete for the basement floor being, and then as I go through this season and do stuff and edits and all that stuff, then that's like the basement being built for the channel. And then when I have all the subscribers, of course, I'm still gonna upload and I have all the subscribers. Then that's like the house being built, right? Once you're like Mr. Beast, right? Like he started off probably unpopular and then he became popular, and once he became popular, that is like, okay, the house is ready, the house has passed inspection. Nope, there were not any design flaws at the construction crew, so we can pass it on, and this house can be a residential house instead of in construction phase. Basically, that's what it's like when you have the number of subscribers you need and all of that stuff to be able. So once you have Google AdSense, that's like inspection, that's like houses being lived in, basically. So think of it just like a house, basically. I'm no, everyone, I am trying to entertain you. So please, I hope everyone's smiling and laughing. And I'm sorry to bore you, but that's what this podcast is about, I thought it was time for me to start doing this and start doing this again, whatever, And I am gonna be going on and on like that, Eventually, I'm probably gonna get to being like Seed and Sword podcast, DRK mode podcast, with Luke Mayonnaise, people like that, what the general typical podcast is like. But right now, it's gonna look like this, So just bear with me, We're slowly gonna get there, slowly getting through all of that. Hey, this is 20 minutes. Could a podcast be 20 minutes? Is it okay to do a 20-minute podcast? The answer depends. It could be around 15 to 20 minutes. Perfect for your listeners. Okay. That's what Google says. Okay, so it doesn't have to be one of those hour-long, 1 hour, 60-minute, long podcasts. It could be short podcasts like this, as I'm, learning. And then it could be one of those 1 hour long, and I've got all the if I do, or whenever, or whatever, whenever I do have all the podcasting again, yeah. Yeah, entertain my viewers and mix it up every day, not just one style. Just mix up all the videos, not just dedicated to this style and doing videos about this. Just mix it up every day. I hope everyone's laughing right now. Please leave a like if you're laughing, and please comment down below, right? Right now I'm, still learning everything. So just bear with me, right? Please, all I ask for you right now is comment down below what else you want to see me doing on this channel, right? That would help me out. Comment down below suggestions for me, right? Since I'm in the learning phase of this, I'm not a perfect, podcaster yet, right? I'm still in the basement being built phase. Please, just comment down below suggestions to help me out to make the podcast experience better, right? Like all these other YouTubers, right? They didn't start out perfect, right? They had to get suggestions from their viewers in the comments saying, oh, hey, this style would be better and help the channel out there, right? So please just comment down below. That's all I ask, and subscribe, if you want to see more funny things like this and me, doing metaphors, right? The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm narrating my perspective of the world. This is also like gonna be more of like into behind the scenes, and my perspective of the world. I'm gonna be doing perspective ones like this, right now I've not got a dedicated schedule for it, So right now I'm just, starting out, I've got ideas, I've got so-called plans, but, since I'm still in the basement phase, right? I could change it up and be like, no, I don't want studs here. I want studs over here, and I want a second bedroom instead of one bedroom in the basement, right? When you're in the basement phase of the house, you get to do all of that stuff. And then even when you own the house or living in the house, you could do some crazy renovation on it and change it up and whatever. So, that's basically, think of this like a house. Hope that helped you. Hope that made your day. Hope this all made your day. And I hope, that this helped you, help people to picture the world, help people to picture, what YouTubing is actually like, right? Not a lot of YouTubers share their experience, maybe other YouTubers think it's easy, right? I'm not sure. But this is what I think, of the YouTubing experience. I like it, This is really a hobby, a passion that I like, and I want to get into doing it more and make it better in 2023. This is my resolution this year. But sharing, what I think, with you all on a channel like this, dedicated like this, podcast style, right? This is really accessible, right? You could be listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google, whatever, Pandora podcasts, whatever, in the car, listening to how I see the world, vision things, and of course, eventually, it's gonna be a second person podcast, the dual host podcast, like typical podcasts. But right now, this is, in the learning phase. I keep saying this, This is what and I enjoy what I enjoy about YouTube is that I can just, share my vision of the world, what I enjoy, And instead of, filling it up with all my, regular, videos on my channel, all of that, on my main channel, all of that, or on my YouTube Shorts channel, dedicated to 15-second or 60-second, non-rant or non-whatever, style, or videos. I know this has been on and on, but the thing about this here is, I'm able to just basically, should I think in a whole new format, and explain, okay, I see things this way, I hope people have been able to picture this, even though, I'm not sharing screen or doing any B-roll, right? It's just been this primary A-roll, Zoom screen, all of that, I sure hope people have been able to hear me, because I don't really have a, the only microphone I'm using is the built-in laptop microphone. Right? I don't have a professional microphone yet, but someday I'm probably gonna get one. Oh darn, I'm probably gonna have to get the USB-C one. But anyways, back on track. That's for another video. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video about my technology passion, my Apple passion, all of that stuff. But yeah, I would say that that's it. Oh, and comment, well, wait. Well, I guess for those of you that are listening to this, I want to know where people are listening to this. So in addition to commenting things, oh hey, you want to see this in a podcast or whatever, and just remember that this is like a house being built and that I'm in the basement phase right now, and I'll keep you updated, like when I think I'm on the, like, once the basement phase has, just I'm using the house as a metaphor, basically. I hope you understand this, but please comment down below, in addition to things that would help me out as the creator, of this. Another thing that would help me out is, where are you listening to this to, for those of you, I imagine some of you, or most of you, I don't know, could be listening to this. Some of you could be listening to this just to the, MP3 files, regular like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, whatever, wherever you listen to your podcast, or you could be listening to it on the new YouTube, like audio podcasts, or you could be watching the video podcasts, with me doing this, with my arms showing like house, with this, when I was giving my house example, all of that, this podcast. So please, if you're watching it, or even if you're listening to it, when you do get to your office building or your house or whatever, apartment or whatever, whenever you can go onto the YouTube app, right? If you're on the podcasts app listening to this on a highway with a bunch of cars honking and, right, with a traffic jam on a highway or whatever, because I imagine you could be doing that. People do that, right? Of course, you wouldn't pull out your phone and watch this on the YouTube or on my YouTube channel or comment, oh, I'm listening to this on Apple Podcasts. But please, like, comment, how are you, like, watching this or listening to this or whatever, How do you primarily listen to your podcasts? Comment that down below. Comment down below how you listened to this podcast, whether or not it was watching it as a YouTube video format or listening to it on YouTube, listening to it on Apple Podcasts, whatever, I think I'm out of breath. I think I've talked a lot on. Man, I'm sweating after this. Oh, I guess podcasts do give me. I guess podcasts are labor, but it's labor that I enjoy, right? It's not like chores labor that I don't enjoy, right? I mean, everyone can agree about that, but I hope my laptop was at a good angle, right? Okay, yeah. Oh, man. I'm just ready to press that end button. Just please subscribe. Subscribe on all the podcasts, on whatever platform you're listening to this to. And of course, for those of you that are listening to this on Apple Podcasts app, whatever, remember that for those of you that are listening to this on Apple Podcasts on the highway, whenever you do get to work, that for those of you that are YouTube fans and watch my YouTube channel or whatever, or do primarily watch YouTube, that you can, whenever you do get to being able to open up the YouTube app safely, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. You are worth it. I just used Yaoi Vlogs. Okay, sorry, Yaoi Vlogs. If you're watching this, if you happen to be the Tannerites family from Yaoi Vlogs and you're watching this or listening to this, sorry, I kind of stole your, phrase there. But I think I'm gonna say this is the end. I better post and get on with my day because I can't just like record 12 hours, right? I haven't even seen a 12-hour podcast. I've only seen like 30, 40, 20, whatever minutes of podcasts.